Welcome back to the deep dive. Put your seatbelt on because today we are not just skimming the surface of Salem. We are diving headfirst into the end of October and the explosive first week of November sweeps.
Yeah, we're talking October 29th right through to November 7th.
Exactly. And this isn't just, typical Halloween chaos. This is the intense narrative ramp-up to the show's massive 60th anniversary week.
What's really fascinating here is that the sources we've gathered, these early spoilers and previews, they don't just give us simple plot points. They paint a picture of, highly synchronized interlocking crises.
Interlocking, yeah, like dominoes falling.
Totally. It's a really dense block of storytelling where every revelation seems to trigger 3 or 4 other consequences. We've got this seismic literary scandal, a profoundly crushing adoption disappointment, to really crucial character returns carrying some dangerous baggage.
Right.
And then there's the corporate villainy being executed kind of under the guise of all this festive mayhem.
Exactly. So our goal today is to basically serve as your guides through this minefield. Our mission is to quickly map out these major crises for you, the listener.
Okay.
We need to figure out the true impact of Stephanie Johnson's secret identity, analyze the legal and emotional walls facing Chanel and Johnny.
Yeah, that one's brutal.
Understand how J.J. Devereaux's return as a cop immediately creates this kind of family versus law dynamic, and maybe most critically, chart what E.J. DiMera is planning in his secret hospital basement lab.
Definitely need to watch.
Yeah. By the time we're done, you'll have the complete roadmap to the start of sweeps.
It's like the town is simultaneously falling apart and building toward this massive anniversary celebration. It's an unsustainable tension, really.
So where do we start? Well, let's start with the loudest explosion hitting Salem this week.
Yeah.
The complete public upheaval surrounding the beloved Johnson daughter. Okay, section 1. The literary scandal. Stephanie Johnson's dual identity. Right. The professional and personal scandal around Stephanie Johnson is about to boil over. She is finally officially unmasked as the anonymous smut writer who took the internet by storm. Anastasia Sands. And the timing is just, wow. This unmasking coincides directly with the launch and book signing for her legitimate mystery novel.
Yeah, the one called Right Out, which is pretty apt, actually.
No.
Yeah, it is.
Well, duality here is just perfect soap opera material, isn't it?
Stephanie, the, seasoned PR pro, is trying to celebrate a real achievement, this mystery novel, while, bam, her reputation gets potentially trashed by the revelation that she also rates steamy, erotic content.
For someone whose entire career is built on controlling narratives and public perception, this is catastrophic.
Absolutely. But it's interesting, the sources make it clear that the most immediate, intense drama isn't necessarily the career fallout right away. It's the deeply uncomfortable family element.
The ick factor, as the notes call it. Exactly, the ick factor. So picture this. Wednesday, October 29th, her parents, Steve Patch Johnson and Kayla Brady, they're at this book debut. Supportive parents.
Right. But Steve's discomfort is just palpable. You can almost feel it coming off the page.
And this is where the source material gives us that incredible specific detail.
Yeah.
It elevates the drama beyond just, oh, my daughter wrote a naughty book.
Totally. Steve is confronted with the knowledge that he has read pretty steamy, sexy stuff. That's the quote written by his own daughter.
Okay, awkward enough.
But wait, here's the true kicker. He and Kayla, his wife, were apparently trying some of that specific stuff out in their own intimate life.
No.
Yes. Completely unaware of who the author really was.
Wait, okay, let's just sit with that for a second. This goes way beyond standard parental embarrassment.
Way beyond.
Steve Johnson, Patch, the one-eyed hero, known for his moral code, this gruff but loving dad. He's mortified, not just because Stephanie wrote it, but because he unknowingly integrated her writing into his marriage.
Yeah.
Is his ick factor really about Stephanie, or is it more about his own self-consciousness and embarrassment over what he did now that he knows the source?
I think it's probably a collision of both, right? The source suggests it creates this deep personal mortification for Steve. It's an instant, irreversible change in the dynamic.
Yeah, you can't unknow that.
Exactly. He's forced to reconcile the idea of his professional daughter with this image of her as an erotic author, and it's compounded by his own intimate actions. It's like this profound invasion of privacy, even though it was totally accidental.
Classic soap move. Take something seemingly benign, like a secret novel, and use it to fracture deep, long-standing family bonds.
Perfectly put, and as if the temperature in the book club bookstore wasn't already high enough.
Oh no, who walks in? In walks a blast from Stephanie's very messy past. Jeremy Horton. Oh, this guy.
This man has a staggering amount of nerve. Jeremy turning up at the launch is clearly a calculated move, designed for maximum disruption.
What's his excuse?
His stated justification is just pure entitlement. He claims he deserves to be there because, and I'm quoting the source material again, some of his sex antics with Steph are actually included as source material in the book.
He's claiming partial authorship of the smut.
Essentially, yeah. He's literally trying to claim a piece of the scandal.
That is staggering arrogance. And how does the family react?
Well, it immediately divides them. Julie Williams, you know Julie, ever the beacon of sometimes misplaced optimism.
Oh, yeah.
She's apparently happy to see a Horton back in Salem. But Stephanie and her parents, they are absolutely not thrilled. They're furious.
Of course they are. Jeremy's return isn't just some nostalgic appearance. It's designed to relink Stephanie's new success to her most chaotic, problematic romantic history.
And the timing is key, right? Because the public scandal is still hot. So Stephanie immediately focuses her anger. She wants answers from Jeremy about who leaked her Anastasia Sands identity to Leo Starr.
The gossip columnist. Always in the middle of it.
Always. Now, we, the informed listeners, know from the sources that the actual culprit was E.J. DiMera.
EJ, of course.
But this creates this beautiful, dramatic irony we need to point out. Jeremy is not the culprit here. For once, he's actually innocent of this specific thing.
But his reputation precedes him.
Totally. His past being labeled the drug-running pilot dirtbag makes him the immediate, obvious scapegoat. He faces the impossible task of trying to prove a negative, proving he didn't do something to a family already convinced he's bad news.
He's the perfect distraction for whatever EJ is really up to.
Exactly. And that past is about to catch up to him in a really devastating way. Because Stephanie has this intense emotional confession for Alex Kyriakis.
Oh, what does she confess?
She tells him something truly upsetting from her past. And the source material strongly implies, well, it suggests this revelation centers on that awful time years ago.
Don't tell me. The hot tub incident.
Yeah. When Jeremy held her head under the water in a hot tub.
Okay, we have to be really clear about the gravity of that. That wasn't just a rough breakup. That was, well, it looked like physical assault, maybe attempted drowning.
Right, it was serious. So, if Stephanie is finally revealing this specific incident to Alex now, it moves Jeremy from just being an annoying ex to a genuine documented threat who physically harmed her.
And how does Alex react?
Exactly as you'd expect. The sources confirm Alex immediately warns Jeremy. And this isn't just a polite, hey, maybe you should leave town. This is a clear threat, tied directly to protecting Stephanie from that past trauma.
So this whole literary scandal plot, which started about publishing, instantly pivots. Now it's a tense protection narrative that pits Alex against Jeremy.
Exactly. And this familial and romantic tension, it's now set to clash directly with the law, which I think we'll get into a bit later.
Okay, wow. So having mapped out the professional fallout from Stephanie's secret, let's pivot now to a completely different, deeply personal crisis.
Right, the devastating legal and emotional barriers facing Chanel Dupree and Johnny DiMera.
Yeah, their desperate attempt to become parents to baby Tesoro.
The emotional stakes here could not be higher as we head into this crucial period. Around Thursday, October 30th, the sources say the gravity of their situation just lands fully on Chanel. She's described as being totally crushed.
Oh, poor Chanel.
Yeah. The fear driving her despair is this belief that they are never going to become parents. And Johnny, he's there, he's trying to be supportive, but they're both struggling to overcome these seemingly insurmountable legal hurdles.
And those hurdles really crystallize into an impossible obstacle right on Halloween, October 31st. They face a big letdown. They realize they basically cannot proceed with the adoption of Tesoro without cooperation or a confession from the biological mother, Sophia Choi.
And this is where the specifics in the source material are just heartbreaking. The obstacle is impossible because Sophia Choi is currently mute and catatonic.
Right. She's in Bayview, the high-security mental health facility.
Exactly. So legally, without her explicit conscious consent or maybe a documented confession that resolves the paternity issues, the adoption process is just completely stalled.
The mechanism here feels designed to just completely crush their hope, maximize the emotional turmoil for us watching.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, Sophia's mother, Amy Choi, she's grappling with her own severe breakdown. On October 30th, Amy is just reeling from multiple traumatic discoveries that compound her distress right as Sweeps begins.
What's hitting Amy so hard?
Well, her distress is layered really deeply in shame and fear. First, she's horrified that her grandson, Tesoro, has been in foster care. That's a huge blow to her sense of family responsibility. Second, and maybe more personally devastating for her, she discovers that her daughter, Sophia, apparently slept with more guys than Amy was aware of.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which completely destabilizes the already fraught paternity situation. For Amy, this isn't just a legal issue, it's a crisis of faith and family reputation, given her religious nature.
And this leads us to one of the most peculiar interactions hinted at in the notes. Amy, steeped in religious distress, runs directly into Jeremy Horton.
Yeah. It is a peculiar moment the notes highlight. Amy is likely in Hortontown Square. Maybe she's even protesting the dirty stuff in Stephanie's new book, given her, moral rigidity.
Right, that makes sense.
Yet Jeremy, the dirtbag, entangled in that very scandal, apparently offers her a genuine human pick-me-up sort of boost.
That's odd.
It's really odd. But this interaction, it kind of serves to remind us that even the quote-unquote villains in Salem are capable of these unexpected moments of humanity. Even if those moments are temporary, it just underscores the chaos. The people who should be fighting are sharing these weird moments of connection instead.
But that brief interlude, that's about to be overshadowed by the central pressing question that defines this whole plot, right?
Absolutely. The paternity of Tesoro.
And the pursuit of truth is right on cue for Halloween.
Perfect timing. Leo Stark, ever the investigative reporter poking into every family secret.
Naturally.
He talks directly to Aaron Green about the possibility that Aaron is Tesoro's biological father. And here's a specific, really poignant detail from the notes.
What is it?
Aaron already has 2 cute Halloween costumes ready for the baby.
Oh, wow. That tiny detail. It's a masterful way to humanize Aaron immediately. It shows he's already emotionally invested, ready to step up as a father.
Yeah, it sets the stage perfectly for the dramatic reveal scheduled for the first week of November sweeps, starting November 3rd. Aaron will soon get those definitive paternity test results.
Which puts Aaron right at the center of the entire adoption drama. If the results confirm he's the biological father, he faces this massive moral decision, and it dictates Chanel and Johnny's immediate future.
This is the classic soap opera trade-off, isn't it? Does the biological father choose his legal right taking custody of his son, which he seems to be preparing for with the costumes and all?
Right.
Or does he opt for the emotionally compassionate path, agreeing to a private adoption with Chanel and Johnny, knowing exactly how badly they want this child, how desperate they are?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, Aaron's choice is going to define the emotional state of 3 major characters and possibly Tesoro's future as they head into the 60th anniversary gala.
Yeah. If he takes custody, the heartbreak for Chanel and Johnny is just complete. It could drive them toward a potential breakdown.
But if he opts for adoption?
Well, it offers a sliver of hope. Although that legal obstacle of Sophia's catatonia still remains a major challenge.
So the drama is baked in regardless of the paternity results.
Definitely. It's designed for maximum impact heading into the anniversary.
Okay. Shifting focus again, let's talk about the return of J.J. Devereaux.
JJ's back.
He's not just passing through. He is making the decision to stay on the police force. Driven, according to our notes, by the basic and urgent need for more cops in Salem.
Which, honestly, they desperately need. His decision is initially portrayed as, like, a stabilizing move. JJ runs into Abe Carver and Theo Carver. They share a handshake, catch up.
Sounds positive.
Yeah, he delivers the good news to Paulina Price, the mayor, and Jada Hunter. It indicates a positive reception for his reappointment. Salem desperately needs competence on the force, especially with villains like E.J. DeMera running around loose and JJ. Well, he fits that bill on paper.
On paper.
Yeah.
But any sense of stabilization is immediately shattered, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
JJ almost instantly has a very tense run-in with his cousin.
Jeremy Horton, who we just discussed in the scandal section. This is exactly where JJ's new authority and his messy family history collide head-on.
So what happens?
This is the core conflict here. JJ is expected to use his new position, his badge, to deliver a blunt ultimatum to Jeremy. He warns his cousin to fundamentally change for the better.
Stop being the drug-running pilot dirtbag.
That's the phrase from the notes, yeah. Stop being that guy the family knows him to be, or face the very real threat of immediate arrest.
Wow. That changes the dynamic entirely. This isn't just a stern talking to between cousins. It's a legal threat delivered by a family member who's now a cop.
It's incredible family drama.
Yeah.
And to justify the weight of this warning, we have to remember Jeremy's past. He has a history of serious crimes drug running, and that incident with Stephanie, the hot tub thing, which borders on physical assault.
Right, so JJ is essentially saying, my professional duty now outweighs my family loyalty.
Exactly. And what's fascinating is that the sources immediately raise concerns about JJ's reappointment itself, suggesting the city is so desperate they might be bringing in someone who's actually too volatile.
Who voices that concern?
It's voiced by Theo Carver in a warning delivered directly to Mayor Paulina Price.
Okay, Theo warns Paulina. About what, specifically? The notes say it could be one of two things. Yeah, two possibilities, both carrying significant political weight. Option 1. Theo was concerned about his dad, Abe, working with his newly introduced character, Liam Saleko, who we know was Theo's childhood bully.
Right, so Theo might just be worried about Liam's influence on Abe, the mayor's husband. That's plausible.
Okay, and option 2?
Option 2 is much darker. Theo is warning Paulina that keeping JJ on the force is actually a dangerous risk because Theo thinks JJ, despite the badge, is inherently too reckless or dangerous for the community.
Whoa. If the mayor's own step-grandson suspects the new cop is a threat, that speaks volumes about the instability JJ brings, even as he tries to impose order.
It really does. And this connects directly to the debut of Liam Saleko, played by Hank Northrup.
Right, the bully. How's the introduction handled?
Liam's introduction seems smooth, almost respectable on the surface. He's meeting with Abe about some mentoring program, presenting himself as this successful, contributing citizen.
Putting on a good face?
Totally. He also manages to show up at Stephanie's scandalous bookstore launch and meets Julie there, so he's immediately networking across key family lines.
But this sets the stage for instant, deep-seated conflict, right?
Absolutely. Theo and Liam run into each other, and the question is immediately posed, will Theo get aggressive with his former high school bully? The source suggests the potential for violence is high. It's revisiting deep, unresolved trauma for Theo. And to complicate things even further, the notes mention that Ari Horton might be drawn toward the bad boy energy that Liam Saleko naturally gives off.
Oh, great. So the conflict between Theo and Liam could get even worse because of romantic or protective dynamics involving Ari, adding another layer of chaos to the Carver-DeMera Horton families. So the synthesis here is crucial. Salem's whole law and order theme, JJ joining the police, is immediately destabilized by the return of two morally ambiguous characters.
Right.
Jeremy, the criminal cousin, and Liam, the dangerous former bully now trying social rehab by working with the mayor's office. It's like Salem's foundations are so weak that bringing in a stabilizing force like JJ automatically introduces an equal or maybe even greater amount of chaos through all this family tension.
That's a perfect way to put it. The attempt at order just breeds more conflict. Okay, now let's get to Salem's great annual holiday. Halloween, October 31st. Halloween in Salem, always eventful.
We know from history that this day acts like a pressure release valve, right? The line between reality and costume just blurs. It allows secrets to explode and villains to operate under the cover of chaos.
And this year is definitely no different. The main piece of spooky drama happens right at Stephanie's high-profile book signing.
Of course it does.
A sudden, shocking appearance by a knife-wielding maniac in Horton Town Square.
A knife-wielding maniac, okay. Any description?
Yeah, and the description is very specific, not just some generic slasher villain. The maniac is dressed in a weird, highly unusual mad scientist lab coat.
A mad scientist lab coat? That's odd. Not a classic horror costume. It almost suggests something tailored, maybe linking back to experimentation or secret science.
Which we know is relevant to EJ's plots.
Exactly. And who steps up?
The heroics, or maybe alleged heroics, fall to Alex Kyriakis. He intervenes with the knife wielder, seemingly protecting both Kat Green and Chad DeMera.
Okay, wait. Let's unpack this slasher incident before we move on.
Okay.
The source material outlines 3 distinct possibilities for what this event actually is.
Right. First, it could just be someone's bad dream. A classic soap trope.
Okay.
Second, it could be a genuine, dangerous crime actually happening.
And third,
and this is juicy, it could be a massive publicity stunt engineered for the book launch.
the fact that Alex is the hero, that heavily favors the publicity stunt theory, doesn't it?
It really does. Alex is dating Stephanie, who is a PR guru celebrating a mystery novel launch. What better way to generate media buzz and instant sales than to stage a shocking, dramatic event where the hero saves the day?
The sources even suggest the slasher might be Stephanie herself, staging her own grand, highly effective, if totally unethical reveal.
It would be peak Salem manipulation. Is Alex truly a hero here, Or is he just a good actor, maybe complicit, hired by his PR girlfriend to sell books?
If this is a stunt, it speaks volumes about the moral ambiguity of the whole town,
Right.
where a potential crime can just be reduced to a marketing tactic.
Absolutely. And naturally, the sources pose the immediate, obvious question.
Is Jeremy Horton going to get blamed for this?
He's the perfect fall guy. Jeremy's already in town, already feuding with Alex, already carrying the dirtbag label, and Stephanie clearly despises him.
Whether he's innocent or guilty of this specific stunt, he is the most convenient suspect to pin the chaos on, especially if it shifts attention away from
the real corporate villainy happening nearby.
Right. And speaking of corporate villainy, Halloween provides excellent cover for the continuing schemes of E.J. DiMera.
E.J., ever the master manipulator. He approaches Kat Green to do him another favor.
Okay, Kat Green. We know she has a track record here. She previously delivered that false news about Tony DiMera being kidnapped.
Right, which we assume was an action directed by E.J. to mess with Chad.
So what's his new task for her? It seems entirely focused on protecting his highest stakes secret.
Yeah.
The lab. E.J. may be tasking Kat to investigate and, more importantly, discourage Leo Stark. Discourage Leo how?
Because Leo is poking into the hospital basement. Leo's investigative skills, combined with his, let's be honest, nosiness, make him a dangerous liability to EJ's clandestine operations.
This leads to a crucial, kind of murky exchange on Friday, October 31st, where Kat delivers information to Leo.
Right, and the ambiguity here is critical. Is this legitimate, genuinely uncovered information that Kat somehow obtained?
Yeah.
Or is it some kind of fake news, that's the phrasing, that EJ instructed her to pass on to the reporter, to intentionally mislead him and get him off the trail of the secret lab?
This defines EJ's level of control, doesn't it? If Kat is successfully passing fake news, EJ is efficiently using a pawn to misdirect the town's best investigative reporter right as sweeps hits. Yeah. It means the real danger, the secret lab operations, is just growing, obscured by the noise of Halloween masks and book launch drama. This is the definition of November sweeps. Accelerating the action while simultaneously introducing new levels of deception. Okay, so Section 5, looking ahead. Anniversary week and long-term threats. As we transition fully into the week of November 3rd through the 7th, we are officially in the first full week of November sweeps and the lead up to the show's 60th anniversary.
It's a huge milestone. While the official anniversary date is November 8th, which is a Saturday this year, the content from the 3rd through the 7th is expected to be heavy with lots of flashbacks and lots of anniversary stuff.
So the current plots are going to be colliding with historical context, maybe returning characters.
Exactly.
All these narratives we've discussed, the scandal, the heartbreak, the family feuds, they're all building toward one major event. The Mike Horton Free Clinic Gala. The gala, the traditional soap opera crucible.
Year after year, right. It acts as the place where all ongoing plots reach some kind of climax, secrets get revealed, and villains make their most public, dramatic moves. The expectation has to be that the gala will host the explosive moments generated this week.
And speaking of explosions, the biggest physical threat continues to be E.J. DiMera. He's actively planning his next step for his secret lab. This isn't passive villainy, it sounds scientific, maybe even surgical.
Yeah, and the stakes for Leo Stark could not be higher. We really need to remember that his investigation of the hospital basement is now potentially life or death for him.
How so?
If Leo continues poking around, as the notes say, and isn't exceptionally careful, the source material explicitly warns that Leo might be EJ's first new guinea pig at the lab.
Yeah.
Guinea pig. Okay, that raises a huge question that defines the long-term threat. What exactly is EJ doing down there that requires human experimentation? Right. The implication of turning a person into a guinea pig suggests extreme unethical research, maybe mind control, maybe memory manipulation, or creating some kind of dangerous serum.
Perfectly fitting the historical tropes of DiMera corporate science gone wrong.
Totally. So Leo's investigation isn't just about getting a scoop. It's potentially an attempt to save himself and expose this terrifying threat to the whole town.
Okay, jumping back quickly to Jeremy Horton, he's clearly trying to settle back into Salem life or maybe just cause more trouble.
Probably both.
As the sources mentioned, he's already active on a dating app.
Yeah, it's a clear signal he's not planning on leaving anytime soon.
So who might he connect with? Any speculation?
Well, we can speculate. Given his current reputation and his proximity to all this chaos, maybe Gwen Ritschek. She seems to thrive on morally ambiguous men.
Good call.
Or maybe even Cat Green. Her entanglement with EJ's schemes might make her an attractive target for Jeremy, either for distraction or manipulation.
A relationship with either of them would only validate JG's warning that Jeremy's incapable of changing his ways.
Exactly. So let's try to synthesize this massive web of character conflicts that's driving us into the anniversary gala. It feels like a convergence of 4 major battlegrounds.
Okay, lay them out. First, law versus criminal cousin. JJ versus Jeremy, right? Second, trauma versus rehabilitation. Theo versus Liam, the high school bully trying to seem legitimate. Third, corporate evil versus investigative reporter. EJ versus Leo, the fight over the secret lab, the potential guinea pig situation. Yeah. And finally, emotional need versus legal barrier. Chanel and Johnny versus the adoption system, and ultimately the choice facing Aaron Green. It is an incredible alignment of tension, isn't it? The week pivots sharply from the very public professional scandal of Stephanie to the deepest, most private crisis facing Chanel and Johnny.
And all of this is interwoven with these established family feuds that are now escalating to law enforcement involvement.
Setting the stage perfectly for the massive anniversary celebration and its inevitable catastrophes.
Yeah. This intensive period perfectly demonstrates how just one major secret like Stephanie being Anastasia Sands, or the simple legal impossibility of an adoption, can generate enough kinetic energy to fuel the entire anniversary month and probably beyond.
The stories aren't separate at all. They're all colliding in Horton Square and down in that hospital basement.
My synthesis here, my big takeaway, is that the true underlying theme this week is really the failure of civil society in Salem. The police force is so depleted they have to bring back questionable characters like JJ, who immediately threatens his own cousin.
A major crime can be spun as a high-budget PR stunt.
Exactly. When trust is so completely eroded, familial trust, professional trust, civil trust, the foundational stability of Salem is basically proven to be a myth. The town only seems to function because it's in a perpetual state of emergency.
Absolutely. So what does this all mean for you, the listener? It means that understanding the context of this literary scandal and the adoption blockage that hit around Halloween, it's essential. Every emotional meltdown, every shocking confrontation that happens during the anniversary gala week, it stems directly from the decisions and discoveries made in these crucial 10 days we've just broken down. And here's a final provocative thought for you to chew on. If E.J. DiMera is using a secretive scientific lab in the hospital basement to perform experiments, what does this reliance on dark science tell us about the character of the town's elite?
When the only way powerful people seem to solve problems is through secret labs and fake news. Is Salem inherently built on corruption? And can any character, even the supposed heroes, truly operate within the boundaries of safety and law?
A profound question to leave on. Thank you for joining us for this deep dive into Salem's intricate web of secrets, threats, and anniversary chaos.
Yeah, lots to watch.
We'll see you next time.